mean, as we look at Mahomes and the game plan for Kansas City this week, what do you expect it to look like?
I expect them to use a lot of 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, and I think the Eagles will match that with nickel, which is what they normally do, just a couple of linebackers. So if that happens, as I anticipate, what I'm curious is, one, can Kansas City take advantage of the size discrepancy to run the football? And that's not just about Isaiah Pacheco. That's about Patrick Mahomes. Last week, he was the most efficient runner. I think about the touchdown where they were in the full house formation with the 2 tight ends.
Early downs.
That was against Buffalo's nickel. That's the kind of thing you're going to see in this game. And then the other thing I think, again, if you get that personnel matchup, is whether the Chiefs can use their tight ends to attack the Eagles' linebackers and safeties. This was something you saw in the NFC Championship. That offense ran through Zach Ertz. They had him lined up tight to the formation, inside bunches, trying to get him on Zach Bond and Reed Blankenship. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do the same thing.
Yeah. To your point, MK, what's your plan for Patrick Mahomes on third down? And the improvisational skills that he has, along with Travis Kelce, but more importantly, his legs. Y'all know I talk about this every playoffs. This is a critical down game. That's what it's going to come down to. Who makes the plays in critical downs? Who goes above and beyond the X's and O's? And a superstar makes a play on a critical third down. Defensively, you just have to be so attached to Patrick Mahomes. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles, especially with Vic Fangio, who likes to keep everything in front of him, probably will serve them better not to get too overly aggressive on Pat Mahomes on third down and think more coverage and less scatter to the football if he decides to take off.
Yeah, and I think utilizing the middle of the field will be huge for the Kansas City Chiefs. And not only in using Travis Kelce, but if you could get some of the wide receivers involved, as we saw last week against the Buffalo Bills. Here you see this motion by Xavier Worthy, which indicates man as Tyron Johnson runs over to be the nickel and press coverage. Now you're going to see Travis Kelce can locate it exactly where Johnson is, even evade him, but make him bubble over the top. And when you have someone like Xavier Worthy and you give him this sort of space to the field with that sort of acceleration, he can create a big play out of a short crosser. Now here, you're going to see a way that they attack the blitz. And we watched a sack against the Los Angeles Rams where they brought 6 from the Philadelphia Eagles, but they vacated the middle of the field. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to work inside right off of the release. Patrick Mahomes puts the football on his back shoulder, which allows him to rotate out of the tackle and get yards after the catch. If they can utilize the middle of the field and make the Philadelphia Eagles either match in that zone or play man-to-man, yards after the catch are going to be huge this week. You have a team offensively that lives and feeds off of it, and a team defensively in Philadelphia that doesn't give up a lot of yardage.
Yeah, it's a fascinating matchup. Marcus mentioned not being overly aggressive if you're Philadelphia's defense. How would you approach it with what RC just showed, all the things they can do?
Well, from an offensive perspective, you watch Philly's defense and you're always trying to find out, is there something schematically you could take advantage of, or if there's a human you can? The answer is no for both, and that's the concern if you're Kansas City's offense. We know, one, they love the perimeter stuff. We'll call it the RPO. I just think Philly defends the RPO so well, leverage-wise. They do such a good job of getting on the outside, and then the run element of the RPO. Like, they do a fantastic job of playing gap sound, taking on a double team, the flow over the top, where you don't feel great either way if you're Kansas City throwing it or running it. And the second thing, they want to get chunks in their pass game. I have found that this is the most communicating secondary in the NFL, where the way that they'll kick their coverage, the way that they'll understand how teams are trying to attack that zone defense. And I think if you're Kansas City, while you love your RPO game, you got to respect how well Philly defends it. And when you try to create your chunk passing game, the way that they pass things off is such a challenge for an offense, because for times you're like, oh, it's going to be there. Then you're like, no, they collapsed it. And that's a challenge.
The other thing is, though, Dan, they see this the entire offseason. You see,
they know their weakness
in training camp. When you're playing a football team that has an offense that mirrors a lot of things that other people do in the RPO game, the chunk game, you get used to communicating.
You're saying they see it from their own offense.
Absolutely,
so much.
absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes those matchups, good on good in practice, can end up getting you to this point in the season. We'll be on this game.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.